All right, there we go. September 7th. We're coming into the last quarter of the year. We're not quite there yet, but it's coming
Nope.
up. And I was thinking about this last night. I'm like, instead of wait until the end of the year, why don't I just give everybody, myself included, a little tickler here for something to keep us from avoiding the pain of what I'm going to do to you all at the end of the year? You know what that is, right? I'm
Yeah.
gonna make you all do it again. That
Yeah.
year-end exercise where we look back over the year and count up all the things that we did in all the different categories. And it's pretty revealing of our income, if our income went up or down over the last year. It's very, very revealing. So I figure rather than wait till the final hour, maybe I can prevent some of that pain. Because some of the stuff is really simple things to do. Uh, Anytime, like if you have a process or a system and you have sold anything, like if you're just getting started, this might not be quite as meaningful, but it should be because it's what will get you started. So either way, this is really a good exercise for anybody. And it's just what I call the year-end exercise. And we go through, and basically it's like a report card, and you get to fill it out yourself, so it's up to you for your honesty level with yourself. But when you look at it, it's very, very revealing for where you are, how you got there, and if you want to stay there. If you're doing what you want and you're getting what you want out of it, then that's great. But if you're not, I mean, most people look at the end of the year and they go, wow, I wish I would have done better. And if that's you, if you get to the end of the year and you say, hey, I wish I would have done better, this little report card reveals why you did what you did. And it's very telling, and it's really easy to change. Because like I said, if you've got any kind of a process, any kind of a system, if you're already running a business and you're moving merchandise, whatever that is, you could be a coach, you could be a trainer, you could be selling physical products, you could be selling ebooks. It really doesn't matter. If you're making transactions, you look at this report and there's a bunch of different things, and any one of them, if you improved upon any one of them, it is going to change your end totals, all of them. So, and they all revolve around the ACT program, every one of them. It's like, could you do better analysis? Could you create better messaging? Could you create more big ideas? And the extra big idea, if you only have one big idea in your business, you only have one attention grabber. So if one attention grabber is making you $100,000 a year, technically, if you created two attention grabbers, it might just double it, right? Not saying that it will, but it might. If you are able to create a new attention grabber to sell the same thing, you literally don't have to change anything about what you're doing. You could potentially just get twice as many customers. Same thing with traffic sources. If you have only one traffic source, like let's say all of your traffic comes in through SEO, if you could get one more traffic source that would create the same amount of traffic, technically, numbers being equal, you could double your sales. I don't know too many people that wouldn't want to double their sales. And most of the people that I know that would not want to double their sales, they're running what I consider to be a broken business model, because they're already maxed out. They're using every ounce of their being to service the customers they have. And if you put one more customer on, it would break the camel's back. That's not the kind of business model I like. That's not scalable. Like, look at almost everything I do is completely scalable. Some of the things that I do, they require labor, like web development. I have a whole web development division in my business. I don't do that work. I have a team of guys that does that work. So all I'm really doing is just passing the projects through to the team. That's pretty scalable. And if it got to the point where I was bringing in too many web projects, I could literally just hire a manager to take that position and pass those projects through to the team and be that liaison between the team and the clients. That would be very easy to scale. So when you're looking at your business model, you want to make sure that what you're doing is scalable. If you look at like this call, for instance, all my ongoing support, mentor, it doesn't matter if there's 500 people in the system or 10,000 people in the system. It's all the same work on my part. Maybe the call might be a little longer, but that's about it. That's really the only difference. So, and when you're doing ongoing memberships, I would encourage all of you to offer support for whatever you're doing and get people into a recurring revenue model. You never want to do one-off sales. If you're doing a one-off sale, you're really leaving a lot of meat on the table. And when I say meat, I mean money. This is cash. Getting people into a recurring model. Everybody needs and wants support for just about everything. If you're doing any kind of a service business for clients or customers, they all need and want support. I've seen this like within so many different things, and in a lot of cases, this took me a long time to wrap my head around. In a lot of cases, people, when they want support, they more want community. Now, for the longest time, that really didn't make sense to me. I always thought, hey, they're coming here to get an outcome, and that's what it's all about. And I realize now that's not necessarily what it's all about for most people. Most people, the community is more important to them than anything. And, this was very apparent to me looking back on my own mother. My mother joined a diet club when she was like in her 30s. And she remained in that diet club until she was in her 80s and just physically couldn't get there anymore. Year after year, she put on a couple of pounds. She never lost any weight going to that diet club, but she went week after week after week, and it was all about the community. It was sometimes about helping others, but it was more about wrapping herself in that community blanket. And I really didn't understand that for a long, long time. That was really a difficult one for me to understand and get, because I'm not that way. I'm all, I'm results oriented. If I'm putting in an ounce of effort and I'm not getting a pound of cure off the back end, I'm on to something new. and I realize that's just me. We have all kinds of different people that we're going to serve throughout our businesses, and you have to understand who you serve. If you're in if you're in a service business, like there's a lot of people that are in what some of you might call a woo-woo business, and doesn't mean it's not real. It doesn't mean it's not, it doesn't work, any of that stuff. But it's something, like meditation. Some people don't understand it. It works for a lot of people. It's the best thing on earth for some people. Some people, they can't live without it. It's their thing. Other people say, well, that's woo-woo. That's bullshit. That doesn't work. That's just, crazy. It's not. It might be crazy for them if they don't understand it, and that's not the way they're wired, but we're not all the same. That's where analysis is going to come into your process. You need to figure out your audience. If your audience is community driven and they want to support one another, sometimes the supporting of one another is more important to them than them being supported themselves. Like my mother, she didn't need the support. She wanted to support others. That's what she went there for, 40 odd years. She didn't go there to get the benefit of the weight loss. That was not what it was about for her. And again, that was really hard for me to wrap my head around. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? I thought that for for all those years. Like, why do you keep going to this thing? Obviously, it's not working for you. But it wasn't about it working for her. It was about her working for it. So figure out, the biggest key to this is figuring out your audience and figuring out what makes them tick, and then showing up for them and offering that. Wrap them in the blanket that makes them feel comfortable, and they'll stay for a very long time. You could easily put together a community for your audience of like-minded people. Like, a lot of you guys are, know Craig Doswell. He's fabulous at this. He's, he gets a collection of people that are all fairly like-minded. And, you look at his group, they're all there for business, right? It's a business group, just like my mom went to the thing for weight loss. Nobody lost weight. Well, in Craig's group, you look at the group, how many of them are making money outside of me? There's a few, but the vast majority of the group is there for the support. And, it's not just about them being supported, it's about them supporting each other. So, Craig he makes a fairly good living at providing that community. So if you're not looking at things in that way, you could literally be leaving a boatload of money on the table. Seriously.
So what's the difference between a membership site and a community?
Nothing. You call it whatever you want. You're providing a place for them to meet. And, like Alignable is a community. They've created a free community. They've brought in millions, literally millions of people. When I go into the Alignable community, I see a tremendous amount of that support going on. I don't see a lot of them making money, right? And it's the same concept. What's Alignable for? It's a business platform. It's to make money. You go there to refer people and be part of a business referral system. I mean, at its core, that's what it is. But look at it. How many people are actually making money? Most of the people don't know how to make money, and they're not asking the right questions. They're not there to make money. As crazy as that sounds, it sounds crazy to me, and I know it's going to sound crazy to you too, but they're there for the purpose of making money, but they're not making money because that's not why they're there. It's as nutty as that sounds. I mean, I probably sound nutty as a fruitcake even saying that, but look at it. Just look at it. Look at the results. And people stay in that stuff forever because it gives them comfort. There's a lot of people in there that they actually work. They have day jobs. They've got this idea that they want to be in business. Most of them will never take the first step. They'll stand on the sidelines. They'll play with the community, but they won't actually run a business. They won't actually create a product. They won't actually create a marketing campaign. They won't do the things that's actually going to make them money. Making money is really easy. I don't know if you guys know this, but making money is really easy. I've been doing it since I was a little kid, and you don't need anything to do it. You, with nothing but a bucket of water, can make money. I did it washing cars, right? I didn't have money. My dad told me if I wanted another model airplane, I needed to figure out how to make money, right? I went in the garage, found an old rag and a bucket, and I went and made money, right? It wasn't that difficult. All you have to do is be willing to provide something of value in exchange for cash. That's really all it is. That's business. And if I could have gone and I could have got that bucket and I could have sat on the porch and thought through like, oh, well, I could have run spreadsheets. I could have read books. I could have spent all kinds of time not making money. And that's what I see most people doing. They sit on the sidelines and they wonder what if, and they think about all the shit that could go wrong. And instead of just going and making money and figuring it out, right? You don't really, the only problem that you have before you make money is you don't have any money, right? And if you're worried about all the problems that's going to come with making money, you're never going to make it to begin with. You know, problems are awesome. And you know what solves most problems? The money that you'll make, making the money. When you make money, it causes problems, right? You got to figure things out. You go, oh shit, I need licenses. Oh shit, I need to pay taxes. Oh shit, I might need to, you know, rent a building. I might need to, you know, I might need to buy a machine to build the things I'm selling. Those are all great problems to have, and they're all solvable with money. But if you're not willing to sell stuff, if you're not willing to make the money, you're just dead in the water. I mean, how many of you guys are sitting on top of something that is worth money and you're not selling it? Right now, how many people? I'm sitting on myself. I'm sitting on top of stuff I have that I could sell and I'm not selling it. Right? I'm selling plenty of things, but I still have way more. But that's really all it takes. It's like I did this, I did a demonstration and it was really kind of cool and it was funny and it really motivated the audience. I had an audience of a couple hundred people. I was giving a seminar, and this was a long time ago. This was probably, you know, 15 years ago or so. And I had the audience, I had them really captivated. I was showing them how to make money, and I could just tell, I mean, I could feel it. I'm like, God damn, none of these people are going to do this. You know, so what I had done before they all sat down was I took dollar bills. Like I took a couple $100, literally, and a roll of tape. And I taped the dollar bills underneath every chair. So every chair in the audience had a dollar bill taped under it. No one knew this, right? So at the end, I asked everybody, I said, I can guarantee you every one of you in this room can make $1 in the next 2 minutes. I guarantee it. Is everybody up for the challenge? And they all went crazy. They all went wild. They're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I said, all right, here's what I want you to do. I want everybody to stand up. Can everybody do that? You know, do we have any, you know, paraplegics that aren't going to be able to do that? No, good. Everybody on your feet. Everybody stood up. And I said, now what I want you to do is I want you to either bend over and reach under your chair or turn the chair over and peel off what's underneath the chair. So everybody did it. They all had $1. I said, everybody got $1 in your hand? Wave your dollars in the air. I said, you all just made $1. And the only thing you had to do it was to get off your asses. And, and it was like, you know, it was like I couldn't have stuck the fork in deeper to get them to understand that all they had to do was move. They had to get off their asses to make $1. And if you can make $1, you can make 2. And if you can make 2, you can make 10, and so on and so forth. It's a matter of how much you want. You just get creative. In the ACT program, we do the exercise. The very first exercise in the program is, you know, it's basically doing that wish list. You know, it's the freedom formula. And you sit down and you dream, you brainstorm, what would my ideal life look like? And you put prices to everything. And now you know, okay, this is what it would cost to live my dream life. This is the cost of me living my dream life. And if you do that exercise well, you're going to come up with a big number. You know, your number might be $20, $30, $50, $100,000 a month per month to live your ideal dream lifestyle. You know, some of you want more than others. Some of you want private jets and shit like that. You know, I'm more in that category. That's an expensive life to live. But the most important thing is you come up with that number. You put that number down on paper right in front of you. And then you look at, okay, what do I have to offer? What is my product or service? What do I have to offer of value? How much is it worth? And then, what's the profit in it? Like if you have, let's say you've got $100 item and it costs you $20 to make it and $10 to sell it. So you have a $70 profit in that item. You take that $70 and you divide it into your number, and that's how many units you need to move per month. And now you have the math. You've got the math to live that lifestyle. When people do that, in a lot of people, it will break a trigger. There'll be a trigger that goes off that literally breaks a chain that is preventing them from doing it because they don't believe it. They have to play the game, even to play this game, you have to suspend disbelief for a second. You have to throw everything that you know out the window because most of you have never lived that lifestyle before. Most of you don't think it's possible. So that's a belief. So you have to suspend that. You have a disbelief that it's possible. You have to suspend that for a minute. And you have to say, what if? What if money was not an object? You have to say, if I could have anything I wanted, what would that look like? What kind of car would I drive? Where would I live? How many vacation homes would I have? How many, staff would I have? Would I have a chef, a masseuse, somebody to pick up my laundry? All that stuff. What would it look like? What would it cost? Put a price to everything. And again, you got to suspend disbelief for a minute to do that because that's not your current life. You might, put a roadblock up before you can even play the game effectively and say, that's not me. I can't do that. I don't make that kind of money. I'm saying if money was not an object, you need to come up with the number and you need to vision what it is that you actually want. Now you've got the number. Now you look at how you can get there. How many units do you have to move of what you have? Or what do you have to develop? Maybe you have to develop a more profitable product. Whatever it is, now you have your math for how many you have to move. And now, and only now, do you really understand how important the ACT program is? Because it's going to be the vehicle that moves those units. If you don't do the ACT program, if you don't follow along, and if you don't create a marketing campaign to move those units, then you are absolutely right. That lifestyle is not for you, and you'll never have it. You'll never attain it. But if you want it, all you have to do, just like all I had to do to get that model airplane was figure out how many cars I needed to wash. And I went and washed them. And the next thing I knew, I was holding that model airplane in my hand. Right? That's what I wanted at the time. My wants were very small, but they were attainable nonetheless because I had a math equation. This is no different. It's just, and I've kind of done that my whole life. Whatever I want, I do this exercise. I like to do this on a daily basis. Like when I see something I want, I'm like, oh shit, how many units do I have to move to get that? How am I going to move those units? Do I need a new big idea? Do I need a new traffic source? Do I need a new product? Do I need to go? And I'm really lazy. I'll usually just find something that already exists. I'll find an affiliate offer that I can fill a need to an audience, and I'll go offer that affiliate offer to that audience. I don't have to create the product. I don't have to create the marketing. They've already done it. I just have to go and bring it to the audience. There's any number of ways to get creative to make money. So when we do the year-end exercise, I just don't want it to be as painful as it's probably going to be if you don't start moving your feet and getting off your ass. The dollar is under the chair. I want you guys to get on your feet, lift the chair, and peel the dollar off.
Hey, John.
Yeah, go ahead, Randy.
Two things. First of all, I'm testing this microphone. Am I coming through pretty clear?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
I bought one of those inexpensive lapel mics for those small conference rooms, and You're supposed to be
Yeah.
able to use it off of your computer and also off the iPhone. Anyhow, two things. I met someone, I shouldn't say it that way. Someone contacted me yesterday through Alignable, which I rarely even look at or open up. And they mentioned that I don't know if they were on this particular meeting, but somehow they knew you, connected to Lineable, and said, they want to reach out to me because of that circle. So I think what you're saying is right on. A lot of these, I never thought about it from a community standpoint versus a mastermind group or a membership group or something like that, where people really, they may need support and they want to learn, but they also do a lot of chit-chatting and getting things off their chest and so forth. My concern with, let's just call it not necessarily community, but I shied away from quote unquote networking events because the traditional networking events didn't prove to do anything, and you just collected a lot of business cards and blah blah blah. Very few people actually make a connection and then make the commitment to go do something together, whether it's collaborate on a project, and those kinds of things are very rare. So I don't look at Alignable as something like that. But if someone mentions your name or someone else that I know, then I might take a closer look at that particular individual to see if there's some synergy or something we might have in common, so to speak, or not in common, and can benefit from each other and help each other. Last night, I spoke at the Toastmasters Speakers Bureau. They asked me to come in and speak a few weeks ago. And what they really were looking for was someone who could come in and talk about Toastmasters and how do they move through the Toastmasters organization into becoming a paid speaker. So I called it novice to noteworthy, your pathway from Toastmasters to becoming a paid speaker. And the interesting thing about last night was that I came right out and told them that out of the 30 people that were there and 21 on the screen, that probably maybe one of those 21 would actually take anything that I shared and roll it into reality and create their own opportunities and so forth. And I gave a lot of content and a lot of steps that they could do based on what I did. And also what I left them with was 3 actionable steps that they could take if they really wanted to get started. And I said, the only way to get started, like you're saying, is to start tomorrow, or you're not serious about it.
Yeah.
And so from that point of view, community is one thing, but how do you get people? Here's my dilemma. A lot of people say they want to do X, like they want to become a paid speaker, or they want to become a coach, or they want to start a business, or they want to, whatever the wanta is. But how do you get whether? So I've done what you're saying. I've created that number. I've even given a presentation and a webinar on your first part, which you just talked about. What is your number, right? So I've done that for myself, internalized it. But how do you get people from the seat, like you said, get their butts out of the seat or in the seat to actually take action? That's really the challenge of most businesses, in my opinion, just getting people to take action.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And there's a lot of them that never will. They're just not going to. So let me address first the thing that you brought up about the networking events. Most people do not know how to work a networking event because they're there for the community. And if you're there for the community, you're not there to do business.
Mm-hmm.
And most people look at it, well, it's a networking event. We're not supposed to be hardcore business. And you don't have to be. But what you have to be is you have to be hardcore focused on finding the couple of people in that room that you want to do business with. And that doesn't mean socializing with any one person for 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
When you've got an hour, 2 hours, maybe at the most at a networking event, you've got hundreds of people in the room and you need to find the gem in that crowd. You're not going to do that by striking up deep and meaningful conversations. And that's what everyone tries to do. They try and create a relationship in a networking event. That's not the purpose of a networking event. A networking event is to identify only and set a meeting. That's it. Identify a true prospect and set a meeting for later. That's it. And if you can do 3 of those, if you can identify 3 worthy prospects and just set a meeting or set a goal to create a meeting after that, you will do very well with networking events. But that's the whole purpose of a networking event. It's not to make a sale. It's not to build a relationship. It's to meet and identify. You might meet 50 people that you couldn't do a thing with to save your life. And it's, it's like if you're a lifeguard, you don't swim up to the one that's going to take you down and kill you. You swim up, and the ones that you can save, you save them, and the rest you let the sea take. Right. And I know that sounds pretty nasty and gnarly, but that's survival.
No,
A lifeguard will not approach a struggling person until they relax and turn around and let them help them.
Right, absolutely. And I even threw a carrot out there last night, just to really kind of evaluate later what the impact is, and to prove out that maybe one would take action. I went as far as to incorporate in that presentation or that talk, I slid in the fact that, because I know these Toastmasters, some of them have heard of Craig Duswalt. In fact, years ago, he came to District 12 out here in the Inland Empire and spoke at one of the larger events. So I mentioned that Craig was interested in coming back. And I mentioned that Craig and James will be at my Envision Success Live event at the end of this month on the 29th. And I put that out there. And just as I seeded it so they could see that, hey, if you want to get in the room with other people, you actually have to invest and knock on the door and hope someone answers. And the way I did it was pretty slick. I was pretty happy with it myself, but I'm waiting to see how many people actually make a move, press the button, click the button.
So I am really big on learning by observation.
Okay.
And let me just show you, like, I've seen this over and over and over, and I've done it myself over and over and over, and it works really well to answer the question that you asked previously of how do I separate the herd?
Right.
How do I get the ones that are going to move forward? How do I separate them out from the crowd? And the easiest way to do that is with dollars. That's the easiest way. And I'll give you a perfect example.
Okay. Because
I saw Craig.
What does that mean? What does that mean? Okay.
I saw Craig do this, and I'm pretty sure you saw it too. I'm pretty sure you were there. And he did a beautiful example. So he put Dean Cain. He put Dean Cain on his stage, right? And he said, he did this song and dance with Dean Cain, and they made an offer. The offer was that you would get to spend time with Dean Cain. You would get a recorded interview. You would get to talk business with him. But there was a barrier to entry. It was $2,000. And it started 10 minutes after Dean Cain left the stage. They took Dean Cain into a separate room, and the only ones that got to go in there were the ones that ponied up the $2,000. And Bo Eason, he said the same thing. He did a whole presentation to prep people around this to do the same thing. And it was about the locker room. Players only. Players only.
I missed it. I wasn't there for that one.
They all do the same process. They do it in a different way. They each have their own style, but it's the same game. Like Bo Eason, he was talking about, everybody wants to touch the cloth. They all want to talk to the players. They all want that access. But when the players go into the locker room, no one's allowed in there. It says there's a big sign that says players only. If you want to get in here, you need to be a player. And he posed that as, if you want to talk to him, this was the underlying metaphor. If you want to talk to Bo Eason, you need to be a player. It's players only. To be a player is simple, $2,000, you're a player. You can buy your position on the team. And for the rest that are not players, they simply fade into the background. The players step forward, and it's money that separates the players from the herd. So however you pose that in your situation, that's how you're going to do that. That's how you'll take a room full of people. And, in your case, you might say something along these lines of, I've got the formula to put you on stages. If that's what you want, if you want the fame and the fortune and the glory, and if you want to literally take the stage and feel the power, literally command the room and feel the power, if that's for you, then you can join my program. If that doesn't sound like it's for you, you shouldn't.
I like that. I like that.
You're separating the herd. You're saying this is for players only.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it's kind of a takeaway. It's a takeaway of, if you want to take this to the next level, you become a player and then we play. And if not, I don't have time for you.
Mm-hmm.
Dean Cain, he's not going to give you 2 seconds if you're not a player.
That's
Bo Eason's, he'll give you time on the stage in a group, but when he leaves that stage, you're not just walking up and chewing the fat with him, right? Unless you're a player.
Yeah, that's right.
So money separates the herd. That's a really easy answer.
That's a good lesson. Thank you.
Yeah. And that's with everything. A lot of you don't see the value in what you're doing. A lot of you have things with a lot of value, but you don't see it. And because you don't see it, you tend to just keep giving it away. You'll talk to anybody, you'll give them all the information that they should be paying you for. And you'll burn time one at a time, and then they don't move forward. So, I did this at Glacier Kennedy. It was my biggest sale ever off of a stage at Glacier Kennedy. It was the same thing. It was for players only. You literally, to work with me, you had to qualify. You had to put up a deposit. You basically had to, it was an application fee. You had to apply to even work with me. It's a $2,000 application fee. Now, the way that I posed that was, it's $2,000 to apply. We're going to number the applications as they come in. If there's a competing customer, I'm going to take the first one that qualifies. So you don't only have to apply, you have to qualify. And I will not take on a competing customer. So if you're a chiropractor in Huntington Beach and you're the first one in the numbering system and you apply and you qualify, you get me. The second one, I'm going to turn away. I'm going to give them their money back and say, I'm sorry, the position is already full. That created an absolute frenzy in that room. An absolute frenzy. As soon as I described that, they were all looking around like, oh shit, who's going to get him? And it caused a stampede to the back of the room to get their orders in, to get the number, the lowest number. I created a demand and desire for the lowest number on an invoice. I mean, when was the last time you saw somebody do something like that? It's creating demand and desire. So the way it worked was they put their $2,000 up, and what they got for the $2,000 was they got a 30-minute consult with me. In the 30-minute consult, we were going to talk about their business, what I could do for them, and if we were a good fit. If we were a good fit, I would accept them as a client. I would take the $2,000 that their application fee was, and I would apply that toward their service. So literally they were not paying for the application. It was applied to their service. If during that 30 minutes we decided for any reason, if either one of us decided that this was not a good match, it just became a free 30-minute consult. I gave them their $2,000 back and we went our separate ways. So that offer absolutely sold like hotcakes. And during the consults, I think I had 2 people that I had to turn away because one of them wasn't a good fit and one of them I took on a competing customer for, but they actually referred me to multiple other people. So I lost one of the sales, but I gained like 4. So, you know, and you've got to operate within integrity. If you tell somebody you're not going to take competing customers, then don't do it. It will gain you so much respect and they will want to send other people to you. So, and also just being honest, like the one that I turned away because we weren't a good fit, I couldn't help them. I was selling SEO services and they were in a niche that nobody knew to search for. So I didn't want to take their money, not being able to actually help them. I said, what I do can't help you because you don't have people searching. I don't want you paying a bunch of money and not get results. And I could predict that, with great ease because no one was searching for what he was doing. So, and again, doing that actually saved him not only a bunch of time, but a bunch of money and getting ripped off by a bunch of unethical SEO providers. It gave him knowledge of how to actually get traffic for his business. It just wasn't through SEO. So engineering a sales process, I've got probably 20, 30, 50 different ways that I can sell stuff. I don't just have one. Like if I get an opportunity to speak on a stage or something, first thing I do is I figure out who's going to be in that room. What's important to them? What kind of offer should I make? What kind of service should I provide? Should it be a lower level or do these people have money and they want things done? I'm going to offer what makes the most sense to that room. And I'm going to offer it in a way that makes the most sense to them. And in some cases, like in Glacier Kennedy, there was 2,000 people in the room. I knew there was a lot of competitors. I didn't want everybody. So I did it that way to separate the herd. I didn't want to waste time. With just me dealing with all those people, I didn't want a bunch of looky-loos. I didn't want to do a low-cost offer and have a bunch of idiots that didn't value me to work with. That's not what I wanted. I wanted high value, high-end customers. So I put a big barrier to entry. It's like, you even want to talk to me, it's $2,000. And I removed the risk. I knew that, that's crazy to give somebody $2,000, not knowing if they're going to work with you or not. So I removed the risk. I said, if it doesn't work out, I'm going to give you your money back and worst case scenario, you're going to get a free 30-minute consult with me. That's the worst thing that's going to happen. And they all wanted to talk to me. So if that's the worst thing that happened, that was awesome. And anybody that didn't have the $2,000 to put up, honestly, I didn't want to talk to them. Because the first thing I would do, I would spend a half hour with them. And then I would be offering them services at a lower rate where I wasn't going to make any money. And I would have those in groves. You guys know how lazy I am. Ain't no way I'm going in that tank. I am not swimming in that tank. Sorry. That's like, yeah, I won't even go there. But it's, I value my time way more than that. So like, to me, time is the most important thing. I can always make more money, but I can't make any more time. So I'm very protective of the time. Yeah, Libby says Suzanne Evans, all the people, they all do this. They all operate the same way. You might not see it because they have different personalities and they do it in different ways, but it's just like ACT. You know, ACT is at the base core of all of it. It's been around for, 100 years or more. It's actually been around a lot longer than that. It goes back to Benjamin Franklin. Yeah, that's almost 300 years ago. There's been people like him that have been putting processes together. And really, when you look at it, NLP, there's a lot of NLP now that's been around forever. NLP is, a lot of people think it's magical and mystical. All NLP is communication. It's communication based on modeling. And that's all it is. It's like if you say one thing and you get a result, and you say the same thing and you get the same result, that's a model. The more times you do the same thing and you get the same result, the stronger the model is. So what you want to do is you want to create modeling inside your business. If you've never tried to sell anything, you don't have any model. You don't know. If you say one thing, you don't know if it's going to work or not. The problem is when you don't set up they call it a script. Like any good salesperson, they operate from a script, just like a play. Think about how a play would go if you didn't have a script, or a movie. If you're trying to film a movie and the actors don't have a script to go by, it's going to be just crap. There's going to be no control. So it's the same thing with a sales process. You are delivering information, and if you're not going by a script, and I don't mean this in a way that you have to literally write down every word and read every word based on the script. Like the actors don't do that. They'll ad lib a little bit. They won't read it, word for word. They're not going to remember that 100%, but they go on the guidelines. They don't veer off of the baseline script. The words might be different, changed a little bit, whatever. And it's the same with this. Like when I do a presentation from stage or a webinar or whatever, I'm not literally reading it off of words, but I am absolutely running off a script in my head. And the way I stay on track is with a PowerPoint presentation. I put images down in a sequence that I'm going to put up on the screen. That's more for me than for them. That's to keep me on track. That's to keep me on my script. And the reason that you want a script is so you can do things the same or very similar. Because let's say you go up on stage and you run out your script, right, wrong, or otherwise, you're going to get a result. If you get a poor result, I wouldn't run that script again. I would change that script. But if I took the stage and I ran my script and I got really good results, guess what? I'm not going to change that. I'm going to go and I'm going to do it again. And I'm going to see if I get the same result. And if I get the same result the second time, I'm pretty sure I'll get that result the third and the fourth and the fifth time. Now I know a script that works. I've got a model. I have a working model that works. Now for me, what I'm going to do, I'm going to automate it. I'm going to take that working model because I know how to communicate now. I know the system, the sequence of communication that will move people to purchase. So I'll take that model and I'll automate it. And I automate it the same way I delivered it in person. It'll be the same words, the same sequence, the same visuals, the same process. I won't change it up. I'm just going to digitize it so it can be delivered automatically. And it may not be quite as effective because, as you know, when you're in front of somebody, they're required to pay attention to us, to a certain extent. They can drift off and what have you, but they can't just ignore you. If you're in the room with them, they're not going to just flat out ignore you. But when you digitize it and they're sitting in front of their computer late at night, they can ignore you. In fact, they can just walk away and not feel any remorse. Most people won't get up and walk out of a room with a speaker because it's rude, right? Most people won't do it. I'm not saying everybody, but most people won't do that just because it's rude. They're brought up better than that. At least we hope they were. So that's the advantage of a live room. Also, the advantage of a live room is your visual gauging of the audience. You can tell if you're losing them. You can tell if they're drifting off. And if they are, that's when I might break the script. I might just preemptively change the script in midstream if I see I'm losing it, because I know I'm off track. I know this is not resonating. So I'll alter the script in that way. But if I'm on a script that works, I'm not altering course. What you can do, and this is they call this an NLP pattern. They call them patterns, they're models. It's the same shit. But one of the models or the patterns is a pattern interrupt. If you've got the right people in the right room and you're talking and you're losing them, right? But you know the information is right. You'll use a pattern interrupt to shock them. And it automatically takes them out of the trance that they're in, and it grabs their attention. It refocuses it back to you. So there's a lot of ways that you can do pattern interrupts. Frank Kern was very, very effective at pattern interrupts using the F-bomb. He'd be talking away, and as soon as he noticed people were drifting off, he'd throw out a big old F-bomb, and they'd go, "What? Did he really just say that?" That's a pattern interrupt. Depending on your audience, that might not fly. Frank doesn't give a shit. All he's interested in getting you right back on the right track, because he's about to try and extract money from you. And if he can't, he doesn't care. He's like players only. He wants to find the players. And so that's a hardcore example of that. There's another thing that you can do too that's really effective in NLP is called open loops. An open loop, what that does is that gets your subconscious to not lose focus. Like you have your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is getting everything. It's picking up every detail. So what you want it to do is you want to direct it. You can actually give instruction to the subconscious mind and through open loops. And an example of an open loop might be you're going to say something that's really important, but you're not going to finish it. And you're going to leave it for later. And you literally instruct the subconscious verbally to listen for it. And when you do that, you just activated it to listen to everything between now and then. So it's going to be paying attention. You literally gave it a command that it cannot ignore, which is really powerful. So you might be telling a story, like I might be telling a story about, how to make money. And then I'll get to the final thing, the final punchline of, and the last thing you've got to do. And this is the thing that's going to take it over the top. This is what's going to make them pull their wallets out and actually just give you cash like it's going out of style. And I'll get to that in a minute. You don't tell them right then. You say, if I forget, remember to remind me before we leave to finish that and tell you, because that's really important. That drives them freaking nuts. They want it. They want it. They're not going to leave the room. That's how you keep them in the room with open loops. The subconscious mind will not let the body leave the room until it satisfies and closes that loop. It's like a riddle. If you tell someone a riddle and you don't solve the riddle for them, even though it's left their conscious mind, the subconscious mind is working to solve that riddle until it breaks it, till it solves it. Proof of this is like, how many times have you been trying to tell somebody something and you couldn't remember a name or a word, or you're going like, it'll come to me later, right? And it will, because your subconscious is searching for it. And then 10 minutes later, all of a sudden it'll pop into your mind and go, oh, that thing was this, right? How many times has that happened to you? That's the way your mind works. It wants to solve riddles. Anything you don't know that you think you need to know, it's going to work on it till it solves it. This on the evil side, and I probably shouldn't even tell you guys this, this is how they can make someone criminally insane. They can drive someone to insanity by opening too many loops. And what will happen, the subconscious is worked over time to the point of exhaustion and failure, and people will lose it. They will lose their shit. And in some cases, it can be permanent. It could cause permanent damage. You can literally send someone to the insane asylum if you know how to do this. Because your brain is like a computer. It only has so much memory. It only has so much horsepower. And you can only give it so many processes before it literally crashes. And when it crashes, you know what happens to your computer, right? It doesn't work anymore. It doesn't function. It physically shuts down. Well, that can happen with your brain. So, that's why really, really successful, intelligent people, they talk about them taking power naps and things. What they'll do is they'll task their subconscious with a problem, and then they'll just go take a nap, and they'll wake up with the solution. And they know they do it one at a time. They don't feed it multiple problems. They stay very focused. I cannot tell you how many times that I have done that successfully. When I was just getting into the internet, I really literally didn't know anything about computers. I mean, I knew nothing. I knew I had to figure it out because that was going to be my future. That was going to save my ass, was figuring this stuff out first. And, in the process, I was having to build websites, which I didn't really know how to do. And I was looking at the code of other sites and figuring out, how they did it. And there was sometimes I was trying to build a site and I was like stuck. I literally did not know. I was trying everything. And as soon as I would do that for more than a few minutes, I would just stop. I would walk away from the computer. I would either go into my room or onto the couch or out in the tiki hut, wherever, where it was quiet, no one was around, and I'd lay down to take a nap or at least a rest. And in almost every case, sometimes I might fall asleep for 5 minutes and I wake up with the answer, go back to the computer, and it freaking work every time. Sometimes I'd be asleep for a half hour, 45 minutes. In a couple of cases, it was several hours. But I just laid down, rested, let that subconscious, let the gears grind, let it figure it out without exhausting me and wearing me down. I'd wake up rested with the answer. I'd go take care of it. Boom. Yeah, Lauren says with copy, this works on copy. Can't tell you how many times I wake up in the morning almost every day with copywriting ideas, because before I go to sleep, I task myself. I think about what I need to work on the next day. And when I wake up rested and I've got ideas just coming out my ears. They don't last long though. That's the problem. Like if I get up and I go and I fiddle around and then I go and try and do it, I'm like, where'd those ideas go? They're just freaking gone. They're just literally gone. I cannot pull them back for the life of me. So I make sure that I keep my phone by the bed with a text pad thing, and I'll frantically write it down. I know I should just do the voice thing, but I feel weird doing that for some reason. So I just basically shorthand, just text it to myself. And then when I go into the computer, a couple hours later, there's my notes. Boom, away I go.
You know, Paul McCartney wrote yesterday from waking up from a dream.
Yeah. Yeah, your mind is incredibly powerful. Most people just don't know how to harness it. And NLP answers a lot of those questions of how to do that. It's patterns. You know, it's all based on patterns of things that work. It's like anything that works and you figure out the pattern, you now have a model. Like for me, I know the model. I know the model of how to solve my own problems. I just go take a nap. Ask the right question, lay your head down, and you'll wake up with the answer. Now, I can't tell you that, you know, that's going to work for you in every case, but I can tell you it's certainly a model that works for me a high percentage of the time. Doesn't really matter what I'm trying to do. It's, you know, your subconscious has recorded every piece of information since you came out of the womb. It's your ability to access it and let that little machine go and find what it needs to give you what you're asking for. It's pretty fascinating stuff, really. Before I went through NLP training and stuff, if you would have told me this, I would have thought you're a whack job. But you know, having seen it and had it work for so long, it's pretty powerful stuff. So anyway, I don't know how in the hell I got on that rant and rave. I don't know if I answered your question with it. Somebody pull me back to reality.
My fault. I'm guilty.
Time for the review.
Oh God, I wouldn't even know how to review that. We covered a lot of ground.
So you began today talking about instead of having the end of year review, we would have the 3/4 year review. So we have 3.5 more months to course correct anything that's going in the wrong direction and to enhance the power if we're going in the right direction.
Yeah, exactly. Woody, you got your hand up there.
That's right. That was the greatest jewel to come out of this call for me, is to put your mind to work on these things that are stopping you. That's amazing.
Yeah. And it's literally, you have to put your mind to rest. Your conscious mind is what screws everything up.
Yeah.
Your subconscious is where the real power lives. So for me, taking a nap where I put the conscious mind to sleep, I get it out of the way. And I use the conscious mind to communicate with the subconscious. So I ask the question, go to sleep, get the conscious mind out of the way, and let the real machine go to work.
I love
And
it.
I guarantee it works, Woody.
I have a question about business now, like Randy. All right. And what it basically is I have 2 projects that have come of age. You know, they've taken 3 years.
Sometimes they do.
But you know, I've got all my tape series for Gateway to Joy. It's ready to go. The website is almost done. And I need to start distributing that and talking about that, like, you know, at Toastmasters, blah, blah, blah. And what I want, and then I have the Elvis project. But the other thing is the pricing. And I wanted to ask about that in the structure for a moment, s'il vous plaît. And what it basically is the Gateway to Joy is my gift to humanity. It's if you've had cancer and you've gotten sick, or you need a job, or you're starting a business, or you don't know what the fuck you're doing, come to the Gateway, because you will discover what you're about by doing your goals, your dreams, and letting go of all the shit that's stopping you. And it takes 7 days and it's free. Okay. So you get that immediately, and then either you love Woody or not. Then you have the opportunity to do the mastermind. Now, the mastermind is, we meet, I don't know when, and I really need your input on all of this. But let's say we meet twice a month for a year. And we're just go through the course. And as you all know, doing a course online is one thing, but doing the Gateway to Joy with other people really enriches you because everyone's sharing their goals, everyone's sharing their joys, everyone's sharing their breakthroughs. And so that's cool. I mean, I'm doing this course already all over the world. I got people in China doing it. I got people in Africa doing it. And I got people in the South doing it, as well as all us crazy Los Angelinos. So that is like $299.
Okay.
And
that's for the year?
What do I know, John? I don't know shit.
I'm just asking what you're thinking. Is that for the year?
Yeah, like $299 for a year.
Okay.
And then you upsell them to Winning Through No, or, like one of the things that I'm going to be, the word that you said, segregating, finding, because I'll be doing different reach outs to different markets, like my cancer groups. They're going to get a different message, but they're going to do the Gateway too.
Okay.
So, I'm pretty sure about my marketing, but I'm not really sure about the big program, like to pull a bitch Bo Eastman. Hey, fuck you, give me $2,000. I'll tell you the story. I don't know how to put myself in that position. Like Randy's a competent coach.
And you don't have to. I mean, that's just the way he does it. You don't have to be somebody that tries to shear the flock. That's what's happening in a lot of cases when you got people that are putting out high dollar programs. They're trying to shear the flock, or they're trying to separate. They don't want anybody on the lower end, whereas you want to help the lower end. But here's your thing. What I would do is I'd probably put a third level to your pricing. I would give them the 7-day for $1. Everybody can afford $1, right? The $1 changes them from a prospect to a customer. So if they're not willing to give you $1, they're not a player, right? And you don't want them. If they can't afford, everybody can afford $1. Right. Agreed. I mean, if they don't have $1, you can't help them. So that's like swimming out to the struggling person. The lifeguard's going to die in the process. You don't want to die doing this. You only want to help the ones you can help. So sell them the 7-day for $1. Put a recurring on it. Say the $1 is the start. You get 7 days. You're going to get the program. You're going to get the 7-day program, and then you're automatically going to be subscribed to our ongoing mentoring system. It's $29 a month, $19 a month, whatever you want it to be. If it's $29 a month, that's like $360 a year, right? It's a very low commitment. If they fall in love with you for $1, they're going to hang with you for $30 forever. Then the ones that get into the ongoing system, the mentoring system, you can do that meeting twice a month or whatever you want to do. In there, they're going to fall further in love with you, and you can make them another offer to a mastermind. So you don't go from $1 offer to a mastermind. You go to a support system. You support them to get them what they came for the dollar. Right? So that's your ongoing, you get them paying you monthly. And then while they're paying you monthly and you're supporting them and you're mentoring that group, that's when you offer the other things to them. Say, by the way, if any of you want to work with me on a higher level, it's not a one-on-one level, it's just a higher level of community. We're taking the ones of you that are really serious, the ones that really want to move fast and want to move this to another level. And we're going to create a separate mastermind group for those. And I'm going to work with you a lot more than just the mentoring system. If you're fine here, great, just stay here. But the players, we're going to move you into the locker room and we're going to be by ourselves. And, you know, we're going to make shit happen. And that might be, you know, $1,000 a year, $2,000 a year, whatever. It's a bigger commitment. And now you're going to separate the herd. So you're going to have all these people pouring in for $1. You'll have a percentage of them. Maybe it'll be half of them that stick with you at $29 a month or $19 a month, whatever that happens to be. It could even be $9 a month. It doesn't matter. Just get them in the system, keep them in tune with you. They're paying you, they're showing you. When they pay you, they're showing value. They show that they value you. If they are not willing to pay you, they do not value you. Those are not people you want to spend time with. Right? Look at it that way. If they pay you $1, they value you at that level. And then if they pay you $30 a month, they value you at a higher level. And then you want to just give them the opportunity to value you more and more. Don't rob them of that opportunity to pay you more, right?
I thought the way that you make money is with affiliate marketing. That's what I thought.
I do, but it's because I have a group of people that value me first. Right? They have to value you first for you to sell them anything.
Right.
So you sell them at $1, they value you, you get a whole pool of them that have given you $1. Now, half of the pool is going to give you the monthly money, the $20, $30 a month. Now, once you've got that pool, you know, okay, these people are used to paying. Now you're going to start making them bigger and bigger offers. Those might be affiliate offers. You might say, hey guys, this guy over here's got a really cool thing. I would highly recommend it. Now you got affiliate money coming in. You say, hey, for those of you that are really serious, you want to take this to another level, I've got a mastermind group I'm starting. It's going to be $1,000, $2,000 a year, whatever it is. You will separate the herd. Those people will move up the ladder with you, show that they value you more, and give you more money. Right? You can take that as high as you want. Like Craig has an elite mastermind. It's like 25 grand. You know, you don't give him 25 grand without telling him you value him. You know, I don't know what he's doing for the 25 grand, but he's offering it. You know, I don't know if, you know, I don't know. I haven't gone through it, so I can't tell you firsthand what, you know, but he's got it. He's got it for those that want to value him that much and pay for that value.
Okay, so in the beginning, I'm giving I feel funny now. I mean, was giving the course away for free to do it online.
Yeah, so you
I don't want to do a takeaway, but whatever you tell me, I'll do.
Doing it for $1 is not taking it away. The reason I say do it for $1 is if you don't do it for $1, if you give it away for free, there's no way to get their credit card information. They're not a customer. They're a prospect. Your first primary job is to separate prospects to customers. You want to move them over that ledge. The lower the price, the easier it is to transition them into customer status. The sooner they're in customer status, even if it's $1, they've given you $1. It's going to be 100 times easier for them to give you $20, $30, $100, $1,000. If you look at how many people you could sell $1,000 program that haven't given you $1 versus the ones that have given you $1, it's stifling. The numbers are stifling. It's 1 in 10,000 versus maybe 1 in 100. It's a huge difference. You've got to get that dollar out of them. You know, and a lot of you have stuff where you're providing something that's worth way more than $1. I'm not saying give all your stuff away for $1. I'm just saying in Woody's case, if he's willing to give it away for free with a $7 or 7-day thing, just go from free to $1. You know, maybe some of you have a barrier to entry that is too high. Some of you might be asking for, you know, several $100s out of the gate where they haven't even given you $1 yet. Sometimes you'll find that might be the problem. You might have to have a lower item to do that. Ryan Dice and Perry Belcher call that the tripwire. They say, take your big thing and just sliver it. Just cut a sliver of it off and sell it for $7. They love the $7 mark. They don't sell things for $1. They sell it for $7. And in a lot of cases, the way they position it is they say, hey, this isn't even for us. We're raising money for a charity. So your $7 is not coming to us. We're just giving you this massive value for the $7 so we can raise money for whatever, the Cancer Foundation, whatever it may be. So that's a lot of times how they position that. Whether they give that money to the Cancer Society, I have no idea. But you know, it's a marketing concept to get somebody to give you money. I mean, look at the Girl Scouts. They've been selling cookies. You know, they leverage cute little girls to sell their cookies all day long. You know, there's no reason that box of flour should be $12, right? But anyway, I mean, it's all marketing. It's all figuring out a model. What's the model to move the goods to make the money? The item that you're selling really is the least of the equation. You could literally sell anything. I mean, as you know, Woody, you can take a thought in your head and turn it into a product and sell it. Right? You can take specialized knowledge of anything that you know how to do that someone else might not, and you can sell that knowledge. You can put it in an e-course. You can put it in an e-book. You don't even have to get anything printed. You don't have to spend any money. You could literally just open up Zoom and record you telling them how to do something, and you can sell that. You know, if you've got people that they want to do that and they need support on it, you can sell them the first thing or sell it to them for $1 even, and then offer them ongoing support for a low amount. You'll separate the people, you know, they'll all give you $1. A portion of them will keep giving you bucks in larger amounts, and a handful of those will give you a shitload of money and show that they really value you. It's a pyramid. You know, any company, if you look at any company, anything they sell, they all have merchandise at different prices. In some cases, this is completely unethical, and I'm not promoting that you do it, but in many cases, they'll take the exact same item and they'll sell it at multiple price points. And they'll just put a different label on it. It's the same damn thing. You know, sometimes they'll do it in drinks. You know, they'll put an energy drink label on it and sell it for $7 when they sell it on the open market for $3. You know, it's the same thing. It's the exact same ingredients in the can. It's just got a different label on it. You know, water. They sell performance water products. You know, I guarantee you it's fucking H2O. It's water in the bottle, right? It's not magical serum. But you've seen water for 30 cents and you've seen bottles of water for $20, right? What's the difference? Is there some chemical difference on the H2O in those bottles? I think not. It's freaking water. Right? It's all in the packaging. It's in the value. They create more value for that water. They have to, or they can't sell it. The other thing, they'll find the audience that wants to pay more. There's an audience out there for every one of us that wants to pay more. I guarantee you. Like Libby, there's an audience that wants to pay you an amount of money you can't even imagine. You know, it's probably in the celebrity zone, I would think. You could probably market to celebrities and get them to pay you tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars to do what you normally do, and maybe you're struggling at selling it for $1,000. They'll just off the cuff, not even think about it. 100 grand. She's the best. I want the best. I value Libby. Here's $100,000. Let's do it. Right? I guarantee you, every one of you has people like that that will value you more, and they will want to pay you more. And if you don't allow them to, you're really cheating them. So don't cheat people out of what they want to do. Right? That's the moral of the story. And if you don't do it the way I said it, you won't get enough people in your tribe to weed those out. They're
You
not
gotta start with the dollar.
Yeah, they're not common. The people that are willing to pay you just a ridiculous amount of money are not common, but they're there. It's a numbers game. You got to kiss enough toads to find the prince. Right? So if you don't have a system to bring people in a mass volume, if you don't have a lead magnet, you're not getting enough leads. You know, if you don't have a tripwire, you're not getting enough customers. If you don't have, you know, a higher end thing other than your first purchase, you're not separating the herd. If you're not separating the herd, you don't have the opportunity to get those people to show their value to you. The ones that want to pay you a lot of money. You're just not doing what you need to do.
You know, I think I have some kind of barrier to the model, or something. I think, you know, it might be as simple as I'm not worthy of asking you for $1. Isn't that absurd?
No, you are right on the money. There's a lot of people, their problem in business is in between their ears. There's and Matt Bronning, he taught this, I don't know if any of you got to experience him when he was, you know, working with Craig. He was doing a lot of NLP trainings. And one of the biggest things that he worked with people was eliminating their barriers. And the way he described it was, he said, if you have an aversion to money, a lot of people do. A lot of people have, he said, think of it like a thermostat. You have a thermostat inside your mind about money that is a comfort level for you. And if you start making money that takes you above that thermostat, it starts heating up and you're uncomfortable. So you naturally sabotage to bring you back to your comfort level. So he said, unless you can rewire that thermostat and make your comfort level higher, you'll never attain higher income. He talked about that as a very, very common thing. You know, like a lot of people, he talked about it with weight loss too. He said, it's all based in between your ears, whatever it is, your model of the world around everything. How it sets thermostats in every aspect of your life. It could be about relationships. It could be, you know, why you have trouble, you know, finding the right person. It could be about money. It could be about weight. You know, he said some people have beliefs about weight that if they get too thin and then they get sick, they won't have a chance of surviving. You know, he said some people think about weight as like, they think like thin people are in poverty. They don't have enough money to eat. They don't want to be there. You know, it's not true. None of it's true. It's only true for the person that it's in their head. Right.
You know, John, it's really interesting because when you talk about other people and how they share their perspective, and I start thinking about the people I follow and how they share their perspective. For example, I don't know if you've ever heard of Dr. Myron Golden. He had polio. He contracted polio when he was a young boy because, and mainly because he didn't have access to the medical care back in those days, because he grew up on the wrong side of town, so the hospital wasn't equipped. But today, it's $1 million to get into his mastermind. And he only works with people that earn between 10 million and above. And the way he looks at it, he says, when it comes to money, you have to decide that money is not your enemy, it is your friend, and it's all about how you use it. And when you think about, if you grew up with less, you're in a mindset of having less.
Correct.
And that's the hurdle. That's the hurdle we have to break through, because when the first time I got paid for speaking, it was $250, and I thought I had hit a home run. I thought the world had changed. And I brought that up last night. $250 was nothing, but it was for an association, but it was the fact that I had cracked open the jar. And now, $5,000 for a keynote is no big deal. So it's just a matter of getting past those hurdles and realizing that your time is the most precious asset that you have. But we still have to remind ourselves. I mean, I still have a tendency to coach people for less than what I ought to be coaching them for, because I have this deep desire to help people, to add value, because I know what it was like struggling and not knowing what your dream was, but not being able to know how to get there. And I think Woody's the same thing. He's undervaluing, and you have to get the courage to say, I'm worth more than that, because I'm bringing value to someone else and I'm adding value to them, and they're going to be a win, and it's going to be a win for me as well.
Yeah. And it's not a problem at all that you want to help people and you want to make that at affordable rate that you can help more people. There's no fault in that whatsoever. The fault in it is how you're doing it. If you're doing it one-on-one, that model doesn't work. You need to do that in a group. And that's what I was recommending to Woody. Bring them in for $1 and then immediately put them into a group where it's scalable. You could have 10,000 people in there paying you, $20 a month, $30 a month.
Yeah, and that's a good lesson, and that's what I'm trying to do now, but it took a long time to figure that out, to have the mastermind group, to have the membership site like you're talking about, where you can bring them in really inexpensively and say, hey, you can work with me and be exposed to me and learn some stuff and have some resources. At least this will get you started until you can move to the next level and beyond.
Yeah.
Well, explain it to me like I'm a 10-year-old. So you get them in. So you put it out there, whatever. Hey, if you have cancer, if you've gone through this shit, you might want to do this course. It's $1. You get 7 days of breakthrough technology. It'll turn your life around. You'll love it. Right? So you do that.
Yeah, the only thing I'd change about that is, instead of saying you might want to do that, I'd say you're crazy not to do this.
Right. You're crazy. You got cancer. You came out. They took a limb off. You're nuts not to do this course. It's all about opening you up to a new world. Okay. So you do that. 7 days go by. All right. And I don't know how you get them all together, John, in that one course. I mean,
well, here's the way you do it. In Kartra, you set up the product, and the first payment is $1. The recurring payment after that is the $19.95 or the $29.97 or whatever, however you want to do your monthly, but it's a monthly charge. It starts 7 days after the first purchase. So in Kartra, you do initial payment, $1. You do 7 days as the delay for the follow-up payment. And then your follow-up payments are X amount per month until they say stop, until they say cancel. And you tell them,
which is just taught us to do it.
Yeah, you tell them this going in, that, you have this program. You say the program is a 7-day program. And then on the back end, it's got ongoing mentorship as long as you want it. It's $1 to get the course. If you decide you don't want the ongoing membership, just cancel before the 7th day and you won't be charged a dime. You'd be nuts to do that. Again, throw that at them, because you're going to not only get the 7-day course, which is going to give you the tools and the backbone and the infrastructure to put your life back in order, to get you, you know, to make you whole again. I don't care what they cut out of you. We're going to make you whole again. Right? For $1, I'm going to put Humpty Dumpty back together again. You know, we get you fell off the wall and you're broken. For $1, I'm going to fucking put you back together. You know, is it not worth $30 a month to stay in that group and stay together? Right? So you don't fall off the fence again. Right?
Yeah.
It's cheap insurance. And again, if you feel that you didn't get your dollar's worth in the first 7 days, just go ahead and cancel, and I'll take the rest of the group and we'll all be successful together. You know, leave them behind. Let them feel the pain of getting left behind for that little amount of money.
Would it be 19 or 30 a month? Well, what is your vibe for this kind of product?
Totally up to you. I mean, I do $29.97 for mine. I know I provide a massive amount of value, and I know the people here, it's worth it to them. You know, $30 a month. Now, a lot of the marketers say I'm crazy for doing it that low. And, you know, like to Randy's point, I don't really need the money. I just want to help a lot of people. So I make it at a price where, like, hey, anybody that doesn't have $30 a month, I really probably can't help them anyway. So that's my demarcation line of separating the herd. I'm not going to swim to somebody that doesn't have $30 a month, because they're going to take the life right out of me. That's just my decision. That's my rules of life. It's, yeah. So you make your own. Whatever you want to put that at, it's good. It's fine. There's no right or wrong.
Here's something Grant Cardone says, and he's crazy, but look how well he's done over the years. But he's like, just throw a number out there. It's all made up. All numbers are made up anyhow. Just put a number out there and go with it. And if they don't bite, they don't bite. It's like putting the fish, the line in the water. If the fish doesn't bite, there's another line.
Yeah. And here's the thing. If the price doesn't work, there's a couple of reasons why it might not work. The one reason is you might not be putting it to the right person. The other one is you might not be putting it in front of anybody at all, or not enough people. You don't have enough traffic. So it could be, the problem can always end up in one of the 3 buckets. It's either you don't understand the market, or you haven't created effective communication to the market, or you haven't brought that message to the market. Always going to fall in one of those 3 buckets. That's ACT: analysis, creation, traffic. Analysis is understanding the market. Creation is creating the message that delivers the value. Traffic is putting the message in front of the people that you analyzed in the first place. Always going to come back to that. I mean, it's so simple. So simple, yet so difficult to implement for some reason. And I think a lot of it comes back to the brain barriers. You know, like Matt Broughton said, if you've got a thermostat, maybe you have a belief that, you know, why should I? I think they call this imposter syndrome. I've never heard of that. The first time I heard of that was, oh man, who was it? Somebody was doing a thing on Alignable about imposter syndrome. And does anybody know who I'm talking about? Chris, do you remember who I was talking about with that? Oh God, it's Sue Brooks' friend. He was in Craig's. Here's a case. My subconscious.
Larry Broughton?
Larry, yes, Larry.
Okay.
Larry Broughton. You know, this is a guy that's very respected. He is he's a force to be reckoned with. He's a military man. He's bigger than life. He's stronger than hell. He's a successful guy. right? So he's putting on a seminar on Alignable about imposter syndrome. And I'm like, what the hell is that? I've never heard of it, never come onto my radar. And I figure, I'm going to watch this. I'm going to see what he's doing, because he had asked me prior, if I had any tips for him, because he said he wasn't converting very well. So, this is what brought it on my radar to begin with. And I asked him, I'm like, what in the hell are you talking about? Imposter syndrome. What is that? And I didn't really get it until I watched his presentation, but basically it's people that are trying to do something and they don't believe they deserve it. It's like, who am I to be selling this? I'm not an expert. Who am I? I'm kidding myself. I can't lie to people and pretend I'm something I'm not. That's imposter syndrome. The opposite, the polar opposite of that is probably me. It's like, you tell me what you want. I probably won't know how to do it, but I'm going to figure it out. So I'm the man for the job. I have no thought in my head that I cannot do this. I have no thought in my head that I'm not worthy and able to do this. I'm going to do it. It's like, just, give me the money and stand back. So again, I was watching his presentation and he's talking about this imposter syndrome, and he's saying everybody has it, and even he has it, and it keeps coming up. And the thing that he shot himself in the foot over was, in his presentation, he's like, yeah, he goes, even for me, it keeps coming back and there's literally no way to get rid of it. And I'm like, whoa, no. I said, you can't introduce a villain and tell them that you can't kill the villain and then sell them a gun to kill the villain. That story doesn't jive. If you're going to introduce a villain, you better introduce a solution to kill that son of a bitch. Right? Otherwise, you're not going to sell squat. And that's exactly what he was facing. He couldn't sell his program because of his presentation. He was using a model that was broken. I'm like, you cannot introduce a villain that can't be killed and then sell them a solution that doesn't work. You've told them it doesn't work. Why do you think they're not going to buy it? You told them it doesn't work. I'm like, you need to recraft that story if you want to sell that, So, Libby, you had your hand up there.
Yeah, thanks, John. Okay, on a little bit about kind of what Randy was saying, we did put together my online program that's $497 for the first 30 days, and it's $19.97 thereafter, right?
Yeah. I wonder where you got that model.
I copy. I like it. John did it. Fine. That's what I'm doing. I mean, I even take half of the words that you have. I just,
No problem.
beg, borrow, steal. But I'm doing a luncheon I'm speaking at a luncheon, probably 20, 25 minutes at a luncheon in Atlanta. There's usually about 15, 20 people there. Would I do the $7 thing, or would I do $97? Because it's already,
here's
it's only
something
going for $497 anyway.
Yeah, no, here's something I want to say first about like you copied my model, but you might have only copied a piece of the model.
Okay.
So be careful when you're copying models that you make sure you understand the model and why it works.
Okay.
So the model where I've got it, where I sell it for $497 and then $19.95 or $29.97, whatever it is.
Whatever he is, yeah.
Yeah, it's on autopilot. It just does its thing. I haven't even thought about that for years.
Yeah.
But the reason that the $497 works so well is because it's not really $497, it's $19.97. If you look, the normal pricing on the ACT program is $19.97. And the way that I often present it is it's $19.97 no matter how you slice it. There is really no discount, but what I'm going to do, like when I offer this from the stage, I say it's still $19.97, but here's what I'm going to do for you guys.
Mhm,
I'm going to break it in 2 payments.
mhm,
Today you pay $497.
mhm.
And then you go into the mentorship program, it's $29.97 a month. You don't owe me the second payment until you've made $100,000 using the program. When you've made your first $100,000, that's when you owe the second payment of $1,500.
Mhm.
And at that point, what I've done, I have just put a thermostat to prevent them forever making their $100,000. They'll make $99,000 and they'll stop because they won't want to pay me the $1,500.
Okay,
Right.
right.
So and I know this, I know I've created this barrier for them, but now I'm going to break it. I'm going to take them off the hook. And what I say then, I say, for those of you, because you're in the room, if you order it now, I'm going to remove the second payment and I'm going to let you trade it in. When you make your 100,000, I'm going to let you trade it in for a video testimony.
Mhm.
Or I'm going to do an interview with you and I'm going to celebrate your success with the world.
Mhm.
I'm incentivizing them instead of punishing them.
Mhm.
Because initially the initial offer is punishing them for success. And I don't want to do that, but I do want to pose it that way. Because it's just like if you watch a thriller movie,
Mhm.
you know, they take you through this up and down cycle. They cycle you from the top to the bottom. And that's what I'm doing in that sales process. They want the thing, they want it bad, you know, and then they find out they can get out the door with it for only $497 and they don't have to make the second payment. And then like, oh God, you know, I have to make that second payment when I make that $100,000. So now I've taken them back into the dirt. And then I take them back on top. I say, hey, you're never going to pay me because you buy it today. You're never going to pay me the second payment. Because when you hit, I don't say if, I say when you hit the 100,000, you're going to do a video testimonial with me and we're going to celebrate. And you basically just got it for free. I'm giving you that as a bonus. It's a win-win. What I get instead of the $1,500 is I get to celebrate you and we make a video testimonial.
So that's that program doing that, which totally makes sense. And that's a good way to do it. I was talking about when you were talking to Woody, I think, about doing the dollar and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't, you know, I can do it for $97 instead of the dollar.
Yeah.
for
And you
that.
just have to look at the value of what it is and your positioning,
Mhm,
you know, how much you want to make on it. Like Woody wants to help the world.
mhm,
And he was doing it for free, which is an error. That's a mistake. So just change it to $1.
mhm.
So you have to really look at your situation. There is no right or wrong,
Mhm.
but there is effective. And you might try things. Like I tried stuff for a long time before I actually settled in on a working model. I didn't just come up with all the stuff that works for me out of thin air.
Mhm.
It was trial and error over decades of trying models. Well, that worked okay. If I did it this way, it worked better. And then, holy shit, that worked awesome. I'm going to do it like that every time, you know?
Well,
So
and this particular group, it's an exclusive luncheon of people. So I can make it, it's because you are part of this group and because there's special parameters because of them. It's not, I wouldn't do that for everybody.
yeah, but see, I would say just from your situation in general, you're not working with poverty-stricken people.
No.
You're working with more elite women and they've got money. And if you put your product too cheap, they may not value it.
That's kind of why I didn't want to do the dollar thing. And I thought,
So
I don't,
yeah, no, the
I
dollar
don't
thing
really-
is, yeah, the dollar thing is not right for you.
like I started, when I first started my business, what I do was one price, but then as I became more confident with what I do and who I serve over the years, my price has gone up a lot.
Yeah.
Because now I'm like, I'm not doing it for that. I was insane, you know, so it's changed what I offer, but now I've also added more components and other, you know, foot in the door things and other types of, I just started kind of what you were talking about as far as getting, you know, coming up with an idea and then, oh, I guess I'll do it. I was talking to a CPA firm and they said a lot of the women that are coming to the CPA firm, they work remotely, as a lot of people do. And she said, they're coming on Zoom and they are just looking like they just rolled out of bed. And, so I was talking to her, doing a corporate program, like a 90-minute training for their staff and all that. Oh, that's wonderful. So I said, great, let's do it. I'll send you over information. I thought, oh crap, now I got to come up with this thing, which I did.
Yeah, like your
Simple.
style tip Tuesday thing.
Mhm,
You
mhm.
could very easily turn that into a paid program. That could be a program that goes on the back of whatever you're selling. Like if you sell your program up front for 97 or 297 or whatever it is,
Uh-huh.
you could say you're automatically enrolled in Style Tip Tuesday at just $9.95 a month. Charge them $10 to get Style Tip Tuesday. Because
So instead of having it tagged onto my free offer.
well, you could give
That's true.
away
I should.
give away a sliver of it for the free offer.
Okay.
Like you could give away a month's worth of style tips.
Okay.
And you'll give it to them all at once in a PDF. Here's week 1, here's week 2, here's week 3,
Okay.
here's week 4.
Okay.
And then when you offer that, you could say, if you enjoy these, if you get value out of these, you can continue the service for just $9 a month.
Okay.
And you might get people enrolling in that just right there out of the gate. When you sell one of your other programs, you can say, by the way, I'm going to give you a special offer where you're going to get Style Tip Tuesday as part of this bundle for just $9.97 a month.
So what about the people that are already on my email now that are already getting Style Tips Tuesday?
One of two things. Either they don't care, and you shouldn't either at that point, or they get enough value out of it to pay for it.
Okay.
So if they don't want to pay for it, they're just telling you there's no value in it for them.
Okay.
They're not telling you there's no value in it for others. They're just telling you there's no value for them. And that's also going to tell you your odds of selling them something else.
Right. So I would have to send them like a notification saying, starting such and such, this will be a paid program. And this is the link to do that. So you can continue receiving it.
Yeah, you could actually send a survey out.
Okay.
You could send a survey out and just asking them how they feel about Style Tip Tuesday.
Well, I usually get it from people that respond back to me.
Well,
like
here's the reason.
Me messages back.
Yeah, here's the reason why you want to do it this way.
Okay.
You send the survey out to the group.
Okay.
You're basically spawning a result out of the group at one given time.
Okay.
Based on the survey, you can say, how much do you value this? Is this a service that you would pay for?
Okay.
And you're basically trying to get information out of them, like what do you feel the value of this is? How much would this be worth to you, on a monthly basis if we were to continue this?
Okay.
Some of them may fill it out, some of them may not. Some of them might tell you, it's not worth anything, whatever. But they don't know the truth of the matter is you can then send an email a couple days later. Oh my God, I can't believe the results of the survey. You guys love this. And you're seeding them with social proof that other people value it. So they should too. And you're saying, most people said they were willing to pay $49 a month for this. For you guys that did the survey and really helped me with this, I'm going to give it to you for $9.97.
Okay.
You'll probably get a bunch of people that buy it on that.
Okay.
But you're creating a mousetrap. You're trying to take the whiskers off the cheese.
Right.
That's why I would do it that way.
So would I set up a separate product? And okay, I'd have to do it that way.
Yeah, you'd set up Style Tip Tuesday product for $9.97.
Okay.
And then you could have a tag that that triggers them. You could also create a mass tag to remove all the people, or you could create a new tag.
Okay.
There's several ways you could do that in Kartra, because basically you want to stop all the people getting it for free.
Right. Right.
And you can do that with a tag and an automation.
Okay, which we will be talking about, yes.
Yeah, you could literally, you could literally have an automation that said, anybody with this tag, stop the sequence. Very
Ah.
simple. You could kill the sequence with one automation.
Okay, okay. And then find out who actually wants to keep receiving it.
And then you create a new tag that starts the sequence when they make the purchase.
Okay,
And
Okay.
then you remove the start of the sequence off of your initial offer and you just give them the PDF instead of the sequence.
okay. I'm gonna have to write. I have so many notes all over.
I know that's a lot to think about, and
It is.
it's
I'll
so
go take a nap.
it's so natural for me to do this because I do it, I
All
think
the
about
time.
this stuff all the time.
Yes, yeah. Okay.
I don't know if you can feel this, but I live and breathe this stuff.
I know you do, which is amazing, but usually I do my Style Tip Tuesdays like a month in advance.
That's
So
fine.
that's actually what I'm working on now. So if I can figure out how to redo this, that would be a good idea.
Yeah, but I think that's a worthy thing for you to get paid for.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I do get a lot of people that say, God, your stuff is amazing. I'm like, okay, but and it is. I'm just giving it out. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and you have a higher end audience. I mean, you have the ability to make a lot of money from that audience, but you have to have a way to bring in a number of them, and you're leaving money on the table by not having that community that I talked about.
Right.
Style Tip Tuesday is a community, and along with the community for the $10, you might do a monthly Zoom meeting with everybody.
That's true.
Just say, hey, I'm going to answer any style tip questions, once a month. And you get that as part of your membership.
Okay.
And all that does, it gives you the opportunity to upsell them into other programs that you have.
Yeah, because then they can do the online program. They'll still get the monthly.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's your way again to separate the herd.
Okay.
If you don't have a herd, you can't separate them.
Yeah. Okay.
So I love to separate the herd.
Okay, well, we'll have herd time coming up, I'm sure. Thanks, John.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Anybody else? I know we've covered a monumental amount of ground today.
I found something new today. I learned yesterday. There's a thing called you can have your name.la.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you know about it?
Yeah, that's been around for a while.
Oh, has it? Okay. Well, I discovered it yesterday, and I got my GregorySantana.la, and I got my Invicta.la.
Yeah. Did you know you could have your name.crypto?
Yes.
Yeah, that Unstoppable Domains has all the crypto domains, which operate differently than web domains. It's so you can basically route your crypto stuff with those. Linda, you got your hand up.
Okay, is there a form that you have for the year end?
Yes.
And
yes.
where is that?
So in Alignable, if you look through the resources on the side, you'll see there's a document, and then there's also you could actually watch the recording of when we went through that. Look for it. It's going to be somewhere toward the end of December.
Okay.
Because I know all the recordings in Alignable, they're all dated. And
I saw the recording, but when I went and clicked on the documents, because you have a Word one and a PDF.
Yes.
But when I clicked on there, it just took me to the video.
Let me see here. No, oh, here, yeah, it's right at the top. It says year-end process to double your business. That's got a YouTube video. And then right below that is the Word version and the PDF. And like, I just clicked on the PDF. And yeah, that's weird. The PDF went to the different thing. Let me see about the Word version. Okay. I see what the problem is. I will fix that. Thank you for pointing that out.
Okay, thank
That's
you.
that's a problem. I put some redirects in for ACT, and it conflicts with part of the URL, so it's redirecting you to somewhere where it shouldn't. So
Okay.
I'll fix that for you.
Okay, thank you.
I didn't know that was an issue, so thank you for pointing that out.
Okay,
I almost just said, yeah, it works, but then I went and tried it and said, oh, I have a problem.
John, on that topic, I have my 2020 version. Do we have a new one for 2023? Is any much difference, you think?
There's one difference.
Okay, so I'll look for the 2023.
You want to know what the difference is?
Yeah,
I changed 2022 to 2023.
me. You should know better. A John Limbacher prank. Thank you.
No, there's really nothing different about that process. I mean, there's things you could obviously add to it or whatever, but it's the main key components. If you look at those things and you're not doing those things in your business, you're stagnant. If you do the same thing, it's just like, I think it was Einstein said, if you do the same thing expecting a different result, that's the definition of insanity.
I'm
So-
excited to take it this year because of the progress we've done this year, and then
Yeah.
the submissions that I've got going in the last 30 days. So, and then
Yeah.
yesterday's collection of cards through meetings and moving forward to the next level. It's been exciting. So I'm jazzed to do the report.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right. So we have to, we'll talk on our time. Thank you.
All right, sounds good. All right, anything else? I don't want anybody's to have a meltdown or a brain explosion or anything like that. So I think I've probably poured in as much as you can handle for one day. All right, guys. Well, have a great week. I know the weather is awesome here where I'm at, so I'm gonna enjoy it. And then I'm actually, the next time we do this call, I'll actually be in Orlando because I'm going to Perry's AI event, and hopefully we'll have a release for that of the AI leads program. We're real close to having a release for that. So
Yeah, we're really excited about that for real estate. So,
oh yeah, we've got that additional data layer for the realtors now, and we've been testing
Realtors.
it. Yeah, so it will add in, like for real estate leads, it'll add in the annual income of the household, if they're a homeowner, how long they've owned the home, several different data fields that are specific to real estate.
Well, suck it to me, big man. I'm fucking ready. Let's go.
Don, is this the thing you were talking about with people that didn't have the email?
Yeah.
That you're okay, good. Because
And
I was thinking,
also I found an outsourcer. If any of you guys like need help sending the emails,
Mhm.
I actually have a guy that can help you do that now.
Okay.
And he has a system. I'm not exactly sure how he does it, but he has a high deliverability system that he uses with some kind of Python software.
Okay.
So he's doing it, getting around a lot of the problems of sending cold email. So if any of you want his info, just kind of reach out to me and
Okay.
let me know, and I'll get that to you.
Okay, cool.
So
Thanks.
he's ready to go. He's all set. So he can actually do, if the email portion of it was your problem, he can help you automate that.
Okay.
Like
Cool.
he can take the leads right off of your Google Sheet and pipe those emails out to them in real time.
I like it. Somebody do it for me.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, that was one of the bottlenecks. I did also get some really good feedback over the last couple of weeks on that program with people that are actively following up on the leads. And Like one of them was Gary Howarth. He was doing it for insurance leads. And he was selling the leads actually to a couple of his brokers that he works with. And they're really aggressive salespeople. So they followed up with those leads. I think they did it manually. You know, he was giving them like 10 or 15 leads a day. They were following up manually, aggressively, and they were like giving him feedback of, yeah, these are good leads.
Awesome.
So that was really, really a good thing to hear.
Okay, good. Cool.
So good stuff.
Thanks, John.
There's great stuff on deck coming up.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, thank you guys for coming on and keeping me on the rails.
Thanks.
Hey, John.
Yeah.
I'm having issue with getting into your site, and I finally figured out how to get in, but I'm not getting a full thing of it. So, is there a way you can look at that? And
you talking about getting into the ACT program?
yeah, I mean, getting onto your Dominator site, I couldn't get in through Alignable where I signed up, and then I clicked on one of the links that you sent in the email, and it put me into your site, but it would not let me access everything. It says I need to join this or that or something.
Oh, it depends. There's a lot of different layers to my site. There's a lot of different programs. There's SEO
I
programs.
clicked on one of those. I clicked on one of those links that was in the $2 lead emails that were coming in.
Okay.
Saying that this is for the people who are active members, and if you're not active member, click on this to renew your act. And I clicked on one of those, and so I was able to access the Internet Dominator site. But when I go to the resources or the reseller program, it won't let me.
Okay. The reseller and apprentice are different levels. Those are different programs. The reseller level, that's got all the stuff for people that are reselling my services and things like that. That's a different they also get access to the rest, but that's where there's some things that are on different levels in there. Like within any membership site in Kartra, you can make different access levels depending on what level of membership the person has.
So I had access to that because of the apprentice level that I was in, which I'm not in now.
Yeah, the apprentice gives you basically access to everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think it actually gives you access to the reseller stuff too, as well. So,
yeah, because I thought I had that because I'd seen it where you could, but now when I go over there, it's telling me I need to sign up for something for $75 a month or something. I don't remember the details, but
yeah, there's probably nothing in really the reseller thing that you would need. If there's something in there that you need specifically, just let me know. I'll just send it to you.
Okay. Well, I can't even look at it because it says that I don't have the access to it.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's not a major thing. The only reseller thing that I was interested in would be this AI lead things. Because I know
that's available outside there. That's not in the reseller thing. I mean, they'll have access to it as well, but that'll be open to everybody.
Okay, and we need to get together and figure out that master class. I'm ready to roll.
I gotta go through my PowerPoints and see which one and do some modification, and then we can cut it loose.
Okay, sooner the better.
All right, sounds like a winner.
I got leads sitting there getting antsy.
Okay. I'll see if I can go through and find one that'll work, and we'll knock it out.
I appreciate it.
All right. Sounds
All
good.
right. Thank you, sir.
All
We'll
right.
talk to you later. All right.
All right. We will talk to you guys next week. I'll be in Orlando, so coming to you live from the East Coast. So we
Hey,
will talk to
All
you.
the best to you, Woody.
Oh, you're muted, Woody.
I said the best to all of you. I love you. You're hardcore.
All right. All ashore. Big
All
hug,
right.
big love. John, safe sailing. We'll talk to you from Orlando. Bye.
All right.